Howdy folks, Eric here, back with another standard brew. Today, Lorwyn Eclipsed is out on Arena now, and I'm jumping in with Grixis Emissary, testing out the reprinted Springleaf Drum. Modern affinity staple, classically pairs well with Pinnacle Emissary in that format. Let's see if it allows Pinnacle Emissary to have its chance in the sun in standard, because it really hasn't thus far. Not enough artifact pieces to enable it, but Springleaf Drum is the perfect addition here. We're on a pretty high creature count for this archetype. 4 Clockwork Percussionist, 4 Gleaming Gear Drake. Works nicely with this overall sort of sacrifice artifact synergy idea here for Rotten Mouth Viper. Just a really nice big way to make use of all of the permanents that we'll be producing off of our Obsessive Pursuits, Weapons Manufacturing, and Emissaries. A couple Lava Spur Boots to enable the Viper. And a nice little piece of tech here. We're on 18 lands, keeping it pretty light today. But we have 4 Fountain Port Bell, which along with Springleaf Drum will sort of extend the range of keepable hands, allowing us access to allowing us to keep 1 mana hands, or 1 land hands essentially, right? As long as you have a Fountain Port Bell to support it. Classic combination for Weapons Manufacturing for Legion Extruder, plays very nicely. Very, very low curve in this list. Not really trying anything new in the sideboard here. 4 Soul Guide Lantern, slots right in. 4 Spell Pierce, 4 Torch the Tower, 3 Pyroclasm. I entertained the idea of testing out the Spell Snare in the sideboard. Along with the Requiting Hex, I kind of felt like Torch made a little more sense overall for this list, and then Spell Pierce, I think, attacks the kinds of things that we want to be attacking a little better than Spell Snare might. Also, shout out to Steam Vents and Blood Crypt, really boosting the playability of Grixis overall. So let's jump into some ranked matches, see what other people are out there are up to with the new Lorwyn Eclipsed cards, and see if we can get some wins here. All right, match number 1 on the draw. Pretty land heavy, but not awful. I think this is a pretty decent hand. Leaves us only with 14 lands left in the deck. There's a Pinnacle Emissary, so I think that kind of changes our sequencing a little bit. We can afford to lead on some tapped shocks here. Plan to go for Emissary maybe on just turn 3, especially if we draw like a Springleaf Drum. That would really boost that opportunity. Wow, speak of the devil. So we could go Emissary, Drum, Percussionist. I think that seems pretty good. Could be a fast Viper. Play an Emissary. Play a Drum. Fast Viper seems pretty good against red aggro, outside of them having like Scalding Viper. Play a Percussionist. Good amount of permanents on the field. It probably makes more sense to try to get the Gleaming Gear Drake on the field before going for a Viper necessarily. We might be able to do both, actually. I think we can present a pretty big Gear Drake in the process of playing our Viper as well. Seems pretty nice. Swinging for 1. I really don't mind if they trade here. And Percussionist says, when it dies, exile the top card of your library. You may play it until the end of your next turn. Always good to have that next turn kind of text. They're thinking about killing something here. They shock me. Okay. Fair enough. They may come to regret that with this Gleaming Gear Drake. Looking pretty big here. Nova Hellkite. Okay, pretty good answer here. Pings down one of my flyers. They're kind of thinking about killing a Percussionist. Kills a flyer. Yeah, we'll take 5. No blocks. I think this means I can no longer... Actually, I think I can still Gear Drake plus Viper because I have this Springleaf Drum. So I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty sweet. I guess I should swing with the Percussionist first. I guess I should swing with both of these first. I can tap the Gear Drake with the Drum. All right, pretty sweet. Sacrifice a bunch of artifacts, big Gear Drake. There's maybe an option to leave this back as a blocker, but I think this is okay. Chip in for a little damage here. Kind of force some action from our opponent. Make them make a decision. Nutrient block on in exile from our monkey. Pretty relevant in this matchup here. Gain a little extra life. Viper looks pretty good. I mean, they're not going to have too many answers to this. Monkey toy. Why haven't we ever really seen monkey tribal be a thing? In any format, really. EDH, maybe? I don't know. I don't play EDH. Maybe I just like play and sack the nutrient block. I can play... Play the nutrient block. I guess, you know, maybe it made sense to make a blocker in the air, but they, like, Nova Hellkite just kills any blockers anyway. I think I just swing here. I haven't done the math, but this feels right. Swing in. I think they have to block with Axonil here, because they can't sack they can't sack their lands, right? So they can discard, go to 13. Maybe I should have shocked for the Fountain Port Bell. If I had done the math in retrospect, I would have been able to sacrifice 2. Okay, they sack. Okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. I'm still looking pretty good though. Swing in and just sacrifice the nutrient block here. A little extra damage. Not sure that there's a world where they can find a lethal next turn. I guess if they like, because they're not going to be able to play the Nova Hellkite on top of doing anything else with this Odroxanil. Axonil? How are people saying this card? Olyer? Olyer Axonil? Feels right to me. Although, Ixalan is supposed to be like Mesoamerica, right? Incan, Maya, Aztec, that sort of vibe. I don't know why I'm saying with a, yeah, they're just dead to this Viper swing, right? Plus Legion Extruder. It doesn't super matter what I do here. Just extrude the Viper. Go Viper for Viper. And now they're dead. Viper looked great here. I mean, came out very quickly. Turn 3, not bad. And, our burn opponent had no way to deal with it. They did draw this Scalding Viper, which is interesting. I wonder if they should have just bounced my Viper. I guess they would have died to the Drake anyway. Let's bring in the torches. Let's go down. We probably don't need the boots so much here. Maybe go down up Pursuit. The lifelink is nice, but it's a little risky also. Like if we don't have a good sack outlet to enable it. I guess we have these torches now, which play very nicely here. Just go down to 2 Pursuits. Try it like that. Maybe we should bring in the Pyroclasm as well on the draw. All right, pretty good hand. Triple Torch. We have our 1-land Fountain Port draw, which I think is quite nice. So let's lead on that. Make sure that we're hitting our land drops here. I don't think we need to get a swamp. Let's just grab our mountain. Magebane Lizard. Yeah, that's pretty good against me. Maybe an argument for being on Requiting Hex over Torch. I could just like double torch the lizard. It's going to be a problem eventually. I'll be honest, I don't really like the sound of it. Maybe I just like single torch this Hired Claw. Sacrifice my Fountain Port Bell. Try to hit my third land drop. Be able to like go Emissary, Percussionist, and Nutrient block next turn. Yeah, maybe the Hex is right. I don't know. Torch the Tower just synergizes so nicely with everything else in our deck, but Magebane Lizard is present in the meta right now. And there's a second one. Yeah, that's gonna be kind of tough. The only way I see us getting out of this one now is like we draw a Viper, we draw an Obsessive Pursuit maybe. Starting town. Well, let's go Emissary. Percussionist here. Maybe it makes sense to play a Nutrient block. We'll only take 1 damage each from these Magebane Lizards here. That way we're not setting up ourselves for a turn where we're like Nutrient block into Torch and taking 1,000,000. Got a board full of 1/1s. Can gain a little life off the block. Iroh's Demonstration. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Wouldn't mind drawing a 4th land here. Preferably like Blazemire Verge. Play an Emissary, play a Percussionist. Actually just be able to block the Lizards. Cast a Viper. Well, if they have the Axonil, I'm in a pretty bad way. I guess I'll just start playing Emissaries. I don't really think I have many other options here. Scalding Viper to bounce my Emissary. Yeah. Another Viper. Yeah, I'm pretty much just freaking dead to this. But that's okay. We get the play for game 3. Let's bring in the Obsessive Pursuits again. I do think we want torches. Maybe we can just go down to 2. Is that crazy? I think that's okay. Just playing to be a little more proactive on the play. All right. Pretty good hand. Once again, 1 mana, Fountain Port Bell. Showing off the Y. I think we're grabbing a mountain here. And then we get to go Weapons Manufacturing or Obsessive Pursuit. Start going crazy. Would be really nice to draw a Viper. I think I'm going to lead on the Pursuit here. Just to get it online faster. It's a little risky maybe. It's going to start hurting me for quite a bit, but really starts to stockpile a bunch of material for us to work with. But if we get to go like Viper plus Hasty Lifelinker, then I think we're doing pretty well for ourselves. Obsessive Pursuit. Get a Weapons Manufacturing online. Could use a Torch at this point. Maybe I should have left 4 in. Maybe a bit of a mistake there. Scalding Viper, bit of a pain. I just wish there were more better sacrifice outlets for this archetype. Like if there was Vipers 5 through 8, you know, that was also an artifact. I don't think Phantom Train. I've tried Phantom Train, but the fact that it's just like, it's 4 mana. That's the problem. And yeah, I don't really like the Umbral Collar Zealot for this archetype either, personally. But maybe you do need it just to have another way to enable the Obsessive Pursuit. Not entirely sure on the perfect mix, but it definitely feels like there need to be more unconditional sack outlets to enable the pursuit, perhaps. They just pass. They don't swing. Double Clockwork Percussionist. Well, let's start gumming up the field. Maybe I should just draw off this Fountain Port Bell, try to hit my third land. But I think I like Double Clockwork Percussionist. Gives me things to block with. Might lead into me hitting a Viper next turn. Pass it back to you. I kind of feel like they're just going to like lightning strike my face here. They're holding up the lightning strike, I suppose, to play around the obsessive pursuit trigger. They kill off a percussionist. Well, that's not bad for me. Another manufacturing on top. I'm not sure that I'll end up playing that. I wouldn't mind a Legion Extruder. We could get a lot of work done with that. Torch would be great. Torch would be really good. Love these mountains, by the way. Nice choice. These maybe not so much. You can be on different mountains. I thought if you... they just went through their deck and selected a variety of mountains for their mono red list. I didn't know you could do that. I thought you had to be all in one kind. Iroh's Demonstration to kill off my Clockwork Percussionist. That's crazy, man. Another obsessive pursuit. Show me a Viper. Show me a Viper. Yeah, they're scared of the obsessive pursuit. That's the thing. Nutrient block. Well, sacrifice this Fountain Port Bell. I think I'm dead. Steam Vents. Play a Percussionist. Ping myself. Ping to the obsessive pursuit. Yeah, it was kind of Viper or die here. Like, if we had it, I think we're winning that game for sure. That's okay. Let's move into the next one. Match 2. On the draw. Got a mulligan this, obviously. No lands. But yeah, that last game, I mean, you know, we went to game 3. They had really good hate against us. And, yeah, I think my boarding in game 3 was a little poor. I probably should have just kept in the torches. Well, we're all dressed up. Do we have anywhere to go? I think this is a decent hand. I actually maybe want the starting town over like the swamp. Maybe over the island? Yeah, try it like this. Legion Extruder's a pretty good draw. Let's just lead on the verge here. We can go swamp manufacturing next turn. Well, High Noon is decent against us, but I like a window to get this manufacturing on the field. Maybe it's more important to just get the extruder on the field. Obsessive Pursuit. I'm just going to try to cast a Pinnacle Emissary here, I think. No more lies. Kind of expected that. I think I really just want the extruder on the field, so going to try to bait out their counter magic here. Springleaf Drum. Let's go for another one. Okay, well, it's this list. I think we should line up pretty decently against this list, actually. Seam Rip on the manufacturing. Okay. Well, they only have 2 cards in hand. Tapped out. They're taking 1,000,000 actions a second because they're the fastest player in the world. Yeah, just cast our Emissary here. Eventually, this might overwhelm them. And then we can just go like extruder. If we hit another land drop, go extruder and then sacrifice our flyers as when we block to like shift the momentum in our favor, I suppose. Block, sack. We can't quite do it yet. I guess let's just go for let's just go for a Fountain Port Bell here. I'll put a basic on top, sacrifice this, hit our land drops, and then this gives me a drone to start blocking with. Just grab an island. Swing it in. Avatar's Wrath. Pretty annoying. I mean, they definitely have a clock on me, and this high noon is pretty good right now. Let's go manufacturing, and then I can go extruder plus sack it. I mean, it looks like they have some kind of interaction here, perhaps. Extruder, sack the munitions, kill Aang. Fire up the Restless Anchorage, makes sense. Swing it in. Going to 6. Pretty low. Map on the Anchorage. Yeah, that's pretty good for them. Lava Spur Boots. How do I win this one? Do they have anything in hand? I guess I cast an Emissary again and set up for next turn with the extruder plan. Get some extra blockers on the field here. I can go to 1 and then make a blocker for Restless Anchorage and kill Aang. I mean, I guess the Voice of Victory is going to kill me next turn anyway. Yeah, the high noon's really getting me here. Just pack it in for the next one. Let's bring in... Maybe we do just need Spell Pierce. It seems kind of bad overall. Let's bring in the torches. Let's go down. Yeah, I think I like the torches. Kills off their voices, kills off the Aang, etc., etc. Even interrupters. Let's go down a couple pursuits. 1 boots. And maybe a Viper. Viper's pretty expensive. And we need kind of the right window to cast it, really. In this matchup, I mean, it really, really sucks if we get it countered by anything, really. And they have a lot of ways to do that. This hand's close. If this was maybe like a Steam Vents, I think I could keep it, but I'm going to have to put it back. Close. Keep this. For sure. Probably put back an extruder and maybe the Emissary at this point. Try it like that. Go for our early Gear Drake plan. Gives us something to do through No More Lies. High noon. Yeah, okay. I think I'm just going to get the extruder on the field here then. Just play tap Steam Vents. I could hold up Torch, but don't think it's super relevant on their turn here. Springleaf Drum. Okay, I'm gonna make a... I want to make a... I guess I'm just gonna sacrifice this clue. No, I want to make a golem, but I want to do it with the Springleaf Drum. So let's just play the Springleaf Drum. We can pay for No More Lies if we want to. Swing in, make a golem off of the Springleaf Drum. Save the clue for next turn. Maybe they have removal for the Gear Drake. But my my golems line up really nicely against them. Helps me fight through the high noon quite a lot. Flood Pit's Drowner. Okay. Not a huge deal. I guess we can... I'm going to go for this now to play around Tishana's Tidebinder. Avatar's Wrath. Okay. You deal with the Golem, I guess. Do I care about this Flood Pit's Drowner? No. Gear Drake back in my hand is really not the worst result. Another Torch. Let's go for a Golem. Pass it back. Fires up the Anchorage. Not a huge deal for me. I think I'm just going to take this. I could, like, give something up to torch this. I don't think it makes sense to. Not a huge deal. Map on the Drowner. Well, I will torch this. I think that makes sense. Deny the Explorer. Keep them from having a relevant guy. Play a Gear Drake. Sack the Clue to the Extruder. I mean, once again, if they have Avatar's Wrath, I suppose, it's not ideal to do it this way. In fact, I don't really know why I did it this way. I kind of had a brain fart moment. I should have just waited until their end step to sacrifice the clue, but learn from my mistakes. I think maybe I was thinking I was swinging with the Gear Drake this turn. Does not end up mattering. Another Gear Drake is kind of nice. Let's just go with the Percussionist this turn, I think. Lets us hold up the torch to the tower. They could have a Tidebinder at this point. Maybe I just swing in. Get lost on the Gear Drake. Okay. Well, that's a lot of material for me to work with. Pretty nice. Yeah, just hit ya. Pass it back. Legion Extruder, man, it's so good. If you know, you know. And then anytime anyone, like, get lost's your shit, it's just like, oh, baby. A little treat for me? Okay. Well, we get to see game 3. High Noon's going to be a problem. Maybe we do bring in the Spell Pierce. It beats the Avatar's Wrath as well. Let's bring in a couple. Go down a Viper. It's not really a Viper match. Go down a Boots. Try it like that. Couple Spell Pierce. It's awkward into their Voice of Victories, but maybe they didn't leave the Voice of Victories in. Not really sure. On the draw, game 3. Pretty good hand here, I think. I like the Legion Extruder. Kind of think that's a bit make or break for us. Let's just lead on this Percussionist and start hitting them. We have a pretty good Viper setup with these nutrient blocks, plus Percussionist. Voice of Victory. Okay. Pinnacle Emissary, huh? I think I'm going to go for the Legion Extruder here. Swing in for 1. They block? You probably shouldn't. They're trying to call my bluff? Okay. I am gonna extrude. And then next turn I'll go warp the Emissary, play 2 nutrient blocks if they don't high noon me. But I think it's just kind of important to get the extruder on the field through their counter magic. Seam Rip on the extruder. Pretty good. Kind of seems like maybe they're stuck on lands. Huge for us. Swings for 3. No high noon. We get to do our little setup turn here. Could just cast this Emissary. I think it's a little better with the Viper in hand to go for this. Pretty good turn. See what they draw. See if they hit their land. Kind of make or break for them. They do. I think maybe that means I go for Emissary next turn if they don't tap out. I'm gonna swing in. I mean, there's not a world in which they just, like, flash in Aang or whatever to block my shit, right? Okay, so I can shock myself, play the Emissary, and then if they counter this, I just get a Viper, which is pretty good. I am at 10. Even Interrupter, but this opens up a window for my Viper, which may be good. It might not be, but it lets me make use of these baubles and stuff at the very least to see a lot more cards next turn. Torch the Tower, pretty good draw. Viper on the field, they're reading it. Reading the Viper. It's never really popped off in Standard. High Noon in the graveyard. Okay. Not awful for us. It might mean they have a second one in hand if they're discarding it. This strategy loves to play the High Noon, and they're so high and mighty about it. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but it's like, check me out. Look what I did. I have the High Noon, Aven Interrupter, Aang thing going on. I'm so cool. I'm guessing they're going to Aang my Viper, but I guess I'll make them do it. They don't Aang the Viper. They don't get lost the Viper. What do they have? Tishana's Tidebinder? Must be a Tidebinder. And we get to kind of pop off next turn. Maybe they don't have a Tidebinder. They take 6? Okay. Well, I'll try to torch the Aven Interrupter here, I guess. So I can play out my stuff from exile. Go for an Emissary. And they scoop it up. Wow, okay. We looked pretty dominant that game, I'm not gonna lie. No answers to the Viper. Seam Rip looked a little awkward. Very late High Noon. Maybe would have benefited them to play that sooner. Looked pretty good. 1-1. Match number 3. On the play. Pretty nice hand. Good mix of lands and effects that we want. Just play this out a bit slow. Make sure we get our weapons manufacturing online before we start deploying our cards. Double Extruder. Well, if our opponent is on Badgermole Cub, I'd say we're looking pretty good. I'd say we're looking pretty good. Botanical Sanctum. Huh. Well, I guess we play a Gear Drake here. Go for the block. Pass it back to you. Next turn we can Extruder and sack of munitions for 4 damage to something if we need to. Spectral Denial. Okay. On the nutrient block. Kind of funny. Oh, okay. Teamer Battlecrier combo. Nice. Well, shock ourselves. Play an Extruder. Get this started. I'm going to hold up the sack. I could go for 1 extra damage here, but being able to, like, shock the Trailblazers at instant speed is pretty important. Okay, suspends a Brawler. Well, we'll be presenting quite a lot of damage to them here. Lava Spur Boots. Is that lethal? Sack, munitions, 2 to the face, 9. 3, 3. Yeah, that's just lethal. Nice. Okay. Plays really nicely with the extruder too, I found actually in my testing. Sweet. Kind of an out of nowhere lethal. Well, I guess that's why we're on the boots. Whee! All right, really good first game there. Kind of a lethal out of nowhere, very unexpected. Turn 4. Who'da guessed it? Who'da guessed it? Against the Teamer Battle Crier combo, we probably want our torches. Just kind of need to be able to interact with their guys, and torch lines up pretty nicely actually. It's bad into like the devastating onslaught idea, but I suppose we just want to slow them down before they even get there. Go down a couple pursuits. Yeah, keep the boots, I guess. Maybe we're a boots guy. Do we want the pursuits at all? Maybe we can go down a land on the draw. Just go down a starting town. Try it like that. Yeah, try it like that. Okay, on the draw. Pretty good hand. I like the interaction here. Lets us answer some mana dorks pretty nicely. Let's just shock ourselves here. It's a little foretelling, but I'd rather, for the sake of tempo, be able to like kill a Badgermole Cub or something. I don't even know that they play Cub, but they do play some amount of mana dorks. Could go for a Gear Drake. I guess we do. Might as well. We have a Lavaspur Boots. I might just hardcast an Emissary next turn. Well, okay. Well, now I have to kill this for sure. So we can go... I guess we go like Emissary, Boots, Torch. Boots are also kind of nice with Emissary in general, to be able to like cast it for 1 with the warp and then equip for haste. Kind of nice. Definitely just have to torch this battlecry though. I think I'm going to give up the clue here. Nutrient block on top. Yeah, I think we'll keep that. It lets us go Emissary into block next turn and then set up into future extruders pretty nicely. Or I could go Emissary, equip Boots. Serac. Alright. Start hitting ya. Emissary block. Generate a lot of flyers here. We have quite a bit of burn in hand too, just to look face. They're missing a land drop, which is really not great for them. This deck is kind of sick, actually. We haven't really seen like the Springleaf Drum pop off. Well, speak of the devil. But I know it's good. Do I have some kind of lethal here? If I go like Extruder to the face and play the drum, that's free. Extruder to face. I don't also then have the mana to equip the boots. But I might be able to force them to block with the Pinnacle Emissary here. Which might be enough of a mana reduction for them to... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess I just swing in with everything. I don't think they're going to block, but maybe they do. They do decide to block. It's okay. I think I'll just pass here. Hold up the sacrifice on the extruder for a golem. There's a chance they just kill me this turn, I guess. It's not super duper likely, but it is possible. And I have access to a 3 extra life that they might not consider, as well as a golem at instant speed. Trailblazer Riddler. Well, I think that means I've got him. I think that means I've got him. All right, this deck is sweet, man. Sacrifice this nutrient block. Draw a card, trigger the Gear Drake. Gear Drake also not really had its time in Standard, but could be now. It could be now. Shoot them in the face for 2. It doesn't really matter what I target here. Shoot them in the face for 2. Play a Steam Vents. Sacrifice a Springleaf Drum. Equip Boots onto my Golem. I mean, this has to be lethal. I didn't do the math, but I don't think I have to. GG. GG. Wow. All right, 2-1. Pretty fast games. Let's play a couple more matches. I think this deck is kind of sweet. I'd like to... We've had a nice variety of matchups so far. I'd love to run into like an Ouroboros list and see how, you know, if the speed of my really nice draws lines up nicely with what they're doing, or if they're just like they're just still faster, you know. Also wouldn't mind running into like a more interactive matchup like Control. So we played against Teamer Battlecry combo, Mono Red, which we lost to their like sideboard tech a little, and then Azorius Airbending. I guess that's pretty, not Airbending. Azorius Flash, I guess you could call it. That's a pretty interactive list, but I'm more so thinking like something with board wipes and, you know, kind of the classic Jeskai list. Pretty good run though. Looks like our opponent disconnected, so I'll just I'll see you in the next one. Match 4. On the play. No, on the draw. Pretty good hand. Big mana. Not a whole lot of payoff for this big mana, but we have quite a lot of payoff in the list. Opponent has a cute little Kithkin avatar. I'm just playing. Let's lead on this Clockwork Percussionist. Start swinging in. Woo! Jam! I guess I could just leave it back as a blocker. Maybe that makes a little more sense. I don't know. Fabled Passage. Okay. Opponent is doing Viper things, for sure. They are a Obsessive Pursuit Viper list. Gear Drake is a pretty good draw here. Let's go. Guess let's get a drum online. Shock ourselves, play a Gear Drake here. We still have a lot of ammunition for a weapons manufacturing or Pinnacle Emissary draw. Opponent sacrifices their Fabled Passage. Couple Hex Mages on the field. Disturbing Mirth. Alright. Couple big Hex Mages on the field. Swinging in for quite a lot of damage. We'll take it. Mountain. I think I might just sacrifice this nutrient block. Draw a card. Yeah, I'm going to go for that now in case I draw something relevant for 1 mana, I suppose, and then I'll hold these back as blockers. Taking quite a lot of damage here. Pass back to you. Torch the tower, pretty good. Okay. Could use a Thought Cast. Could use a Thought Monitor off the top. Swinging in. Block. See what we have on top here. Kind of feeling like maybe a Pyroclasm matchup. Legion Extruder is really nice. Do we have a weapons manufacturing to go along with it? I mean, I'm not gonna complain about the Legion Extruder hit though. Helps me clean up the board pretty nicely. Produce some golems for blockers. There's the Obsessive Pursuit. There's a Viper. Go for the Extruder. Probably best to just start shooting the Hex Mages. Pass it back. Could be dead here still, depending on what they draw. They have access to a pretty big attacker with this Obsessive Pursuit. There's a Viper. We'll start discarding some lands. Swinging in. Big headliner. Big face down card. Give up a clue here. I guess I block a headliner. I don't really like it either way. But I think I'd rather keep the golem around. Go to 1. So I could play a Viper of my own. Play a drum. No, activate the drum. Nah, I'm just dead. I'm just dead. They have 3 attackers. I don't think there's a way I can keep 3 blockers around here. Okay. Interaction. Turns out you kind of need some interaction sometimes. Go down. I think we like the pursuits here. I don't know that we care about the boots necessarily, though. Not really that kind of matchup. Let's bring in some Pyroclasms. I think that could kind of be our way to fight against their really aggro starts. Or maybe we just want the Pyroclasms on the draws. We could stick to Torches on the play. Maybe a mix of both. Go down a couple pursuits. Try it like this. I think we're going to be inherently a more controlling build than them. I'm not sure that they're on something like Legion Extruder, so we'll have time to. We have a value piece to sort of pay off a more controlling game plan. I think we'll keep this. We have the Fountain Port Bell to grab our mountain on turn 2. Get a weapons manufacturing online, and then set up for a pretty fast Viper. Headliner. Fast Viper plus a bunch of shock effects from these munitions. There's the manufacturing. Okay. What would we like to draw here? I guess just a land to be able to go block Viper next turn. Pretty good. Springleaf Drum. That's not bad. Block. Lock. And that's the turn. Pass it back to you. I kind of feel like we're set up to win this one pretty handily. Fountain Port Bell. Who knew? Who knew? Pyroclasm. Well, I don't think we'll be needing that where we're going. Player Springleaf Drum. They could have an answer to the Viper here, but I do have a second one. Sacrifice these blocks. And they scoop it up. Okay, great. Okay, great. Bring in some more interaction for the draw here. Maybe we go down like a Gear Drake. Their stuff lines up pretty nicely to my Gear Drakes. And with me being on this Pyroclasm plan, could be a little awkward. Maybe we stick it to 2 Gear Drakes. Go down a Viper. Maybe we could probably cut a land. Go down to Starting Town. Try it like that. Now this is a good hand. Pyroclasm, weapon manufacturing, Moon Shadow on the field. Ooh, we draw a Fountain Port Bell. Hey, that's pretty nice. Yeah, let's go for that. Just throw another mountain on top. Hopefully they don't set up too nicely for this Moon Shadow. Okay, another Moon Shadow. Do we get to Pyroclasm the shit out of them? We kind of do. Yeah, pretty happy about this Pyroclasm choice here. Whee! Pretty good. All right, your turn. Another Pyroclasm. That ain't bad. Manufacturing. Now I am the one who plays fast. Springleaf Drum. Oh, we're doing it. And maybe I should have just sacrificed the Fountainport Bell for a redraw there. Stadium Headliner. Percussionist. Yeah, let's go Gear Drake, sacrifice this bell, draw a card. They're going to have to deal with it. They likely have some way to, but I don't know. Maybe you don't really think about it. Springleaf Drum. Play a Percussionist here. Yeah, just pass it back to them. Hold up a blocker for their Headliner. I kind of imagine they're going to try to set up a kill on the Gear Drake with the Headliner at this juncture, but maybe not. I kind of feel like we're just kind of beating their ass in. Yeah, okay. Good game. Good game. Springleaf Drum. Looked pretty good there. Let me combo out pretty hard there. Yeah. Great. I mean, deck's working great. 3-1. Let's see if we can get that sweet 4-1. All right, on the play. Match 5. Pretty good hand. Up against Junlai. Yeah, Springleaf Drum looks so good for this list, dude. It's crazy. It's crazy how different it is with Springleaf Drum. And with the Fountainport Bells, too. Also just like that element of like extending the range of keepable hands is so real. Lead on the Gleaming Gear Drake. Is this gonna get spell snared? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Cause ideally we want like a 2-mana hand, right? Or a 2-land hand most of the time. Let's go Emissary, Drum, Extruder, right? But this is the difference maker right here, you know? I guess they could just kill my Emissary here. But maybe not. Drum. Make a bunch of guys. Oh, we're doing it. Buy now. Buy your Pinnacle Emissaries now. Oh, we're doing it. Make another flyer. Get the Extruder on the field, and they scoop it up. Okay. I mean, yeah, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. Spell Pierces. I'm just going to imagine this is more of like the dimmer tempo list. So I think I'm just going to run it as is. Maybe bring in a couple prospective torches. Cut a couple pursuits. Try it like that. All right. Gonna keep this hand. Great hand. Fountainport Bell, once again, showing up. Flitterwing Nuisance. Looks like we're playing against Faeries. Just shocking this Blood Crypt. Play the Fountainport Bell. Grab our island. Let's see what this card does. Enters with a -1/-1 counter. Pay 3, remove a counter from this creature. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker this turn, draw a card. Interesting. I could play around Spell Snare, but yeah, I'll just play a Gear Drake here. This plays around Spell Snare a little bit because I, truly just want to resolve this weapons manufacturing. That's fine. Thinking about, okay, there another Kaito target for their another good 1/1 flyer to ninjutsu the Kaito. Faeries. Doing fairy stuff. Yeah, we get a weapons manufacturing on the field. That's pretty good. Play a Percussionist. Start beating in on the Kaito. Boom. Gotcha. It's in torch range now. Not feeling too shabby. Second weapons manufacturing, kind of a big deal. Wouldn't mind seeing a Viper. Wouldn't mind seeing a Springleaf Drum. Bitter Bloom Bearer in the graveyard. Intimidation Tactics. Gonna take my Emissary. This deck is so sweet, man. It was exactly what the deck was missing, too. The top end pieces are obviously very good, like the payoffs. Or maybe, yeah, I would say the payoffs are obviously very good. Weapons manufacturing, Legion Extruder, Pinnacle Emissary. My opponent just scoops it up, I guess. The whole time it was missing Springleaf Drum, like exactly Springleaf Drum. Helps you be 3 colors for the Viper. Helps you combo off like crazy on your Pinnacle Emissary turns. Like that one extra spell on those emissary turns makes a huge difference. The difference between producing like a consistent 1 to 2 flyers on turn 2 versus like 3 flyers kind of consistently on turn 2, 3, you know. Pretty nuts. Wow. I'm convinced. 4-1 run on the ladder. Check it out. Bye. Pinnacle Emissary. I don't know if it's going to be like busted tier 1 or anything like that, but I think it definitely, like, Springleaf Drum pulls Pinnacle Emissary out of the dregs of unplayability and puts it into a much more playable place, I think, in Standard right now. Same with Viper. I mean, this is the Viper list, I think, were I to play one. I like the, like, black-white curious obsessive pursuit like sacrifice list as well. But the thing about Viper that's like just so explosive in this is that the same turn that you cast the Viper, you're not just playing a Viper, you're sacrificing all of your weapons manufacturing munitions in the same turn. So it lets you like do 2 things. It lets you deal with their board with your munitions and presents a big threat for them to have to deal with. Fountain Port Bell, All-Star. Yeah, I think this just makes sense to me. The sideboard could maybe use some cleaning up. Maybe with that, Magebane Lizard taken into consideration, we go off the Torch plan. Although Torch in general just looks really, really good for this list, and maybe we just accept that Magebane is going to be a problem. I don't know. Anywho's, thank you so much for watching. Really happy to be exploring these new cards in Standard. I'll be posting mostly Standard content every day, maybe a little Pioneer mixed in here and there. If you liked this video, why don't you come on back? Why don't you hit a like or subscribe, perhaps? And I will see you on the next one. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.